Hello, my friends. Happy Tuesday. I'm just turning off the volume on my phone because it keeps pinging. Very exciting. Hello. Today's a big question, actually. Well, first of all, my habitual little weather report. Slightly sunny, as in bright, but overcast. The sky is white. That was poetic. All right, so really important question here today, folks. Let's get it ready. I've got it in bright, really bright fluorescent green today. The background seems a little dingy. Bright lipstick, bright, you're going to see. Amazing. Freedom. What does freedom mean to you? We hear about a freedom lifestyle, right? We've all seen those incredibly long, what are they called? Landing pages, where there's a story about how somebody made millions and millions of dollars, and they're going to show you how to make millions and millions of dollars from your armchair or your hammock in your amazingly luxurious house, driving your Lamborghinis and etc., 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 with glittering with diamonds, sprinkling them behind you as you walk along the beach. You've seen it, right? They go on for reams and reams, and then there are all these testimonials of people who are making money. The people at the top have what is a freedom lifestyle. When I say the top, I mean the top of the landing page. Top of the compensation plan, also in some companies, I have to admit. The freedom lifestyle has become synonymous with extreme wealth. But is that actually what a freedom lifestyle means to you? Let's have a look. Ta-da! Do you believe that you could have a freedom lifestyle? Okay, so when I first heard about freedom lifestyles, I thought, oh, that's lovely, but that's not possible for me. But like I said, let's look at what a freedom lifestyle actually means for ordinary folk like me and a lot of you. Actually, we're all extraordinary. We have the potential to be extraordinary, but we have been not extraordinary in our lives in the past. Wow, it's very difficult to speak without potentially upsetting somebody, and I don't want to upset anybody, so I'm not going to say we're all average. We're not average. I mean, the fact that we're here is we're average, but let's put it this way. We might not have achieved the spectacular success that we want to achieve. Right. So before we go on with any of that, just in case some of you are new, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Andrea Kuchin. I am part of PhD in Follow-Up. That's the name of the company. PhD in Follow-Up up here. See, you can see it right there. PhD in Follow-Up. Not very clearly because it's got something dark behind it. Let's see. There you go. You can see it better now. And my home biz tips is the training arm of PhD in Follow-Up. PhD in Follow-Up is designed to help businesses do their follow-up better, which is part of marketing. So if you have any questions about anything I say or anything else that you think I might be able to help with or anything you would think I might be interested in, you can call or text me 858-252-1190. Here is my phone. I do pick it up, so feel free to do that. Or if you'd rather email me, andrea@phdinfollowup.com, and I will receive it. You can also join our Facebook group, which is PhD in Follow-Up, more loyal customers and referrals for busy business owners. And there's an awful lot more in there, including how to make more money, which is in fact what we're going to talk about today. So back to, do you believe you could have a freedom lifestyle? What is freedom? Well, for some people, freedom means having a jet, maybe your own private island, being able to come and go as you please, and have everyone do everything for you that you don't like to do. And there are people who have those lifestyles. The first person that comes to mind, for example, is Richard Branson. Now, he comes to mind because somebody I work with, somebody I know personally, has met Richard Branson and actually visited the island, stayed on Richard Branson's private island, and talked to him about business. Now, I met Richard Branson decades ago when I was working my very first job in television. I worked in a facilities house. A facilities house is a place where other companies come to hire equipment. So we had all sorts of things that you could hire to do a shoot, including the crew. So we had cameras and lighting and all that kind of stuff, sound equipment, and you could hire the engineers to go with them and the truck to take everything with you. And 3 doors down was a relatively new company. Well, it wasn't all that new, actually, at that stage. It wasn't all that new at that stage, but it was called Virgin Records or Virgin Music. And they were just 3 or 4 buildings down. And the building we were in had a restaurant. And sometimes they'd come and eat in our restaurant, or they'd have great Christmas parties. That's why he springs to mind. He's always been, for me, superhuman in a completely different league. And I never even dreamt that I could be anywhere near those. So I never thought about it. I mean, I wasn't lying awake at night thinking, oh, I wish I could have that kind of lifestyle, because I kind of automatically knew that it was way beyond my reach, way beyond my reach. Okay. That kind of financial freedom, not going to happen for me. And then years later, when I was working, decades later, actually, when I was working with a business coach and my viewpoint about money changed, I actually figured that isn't what I'm aiming for in my business, in my income. I'm not necessarily aiming for that level of freedom. That's not my primary thought. My primary goal with having way more money than I need, because I do want way more money than I need personally, and I have had this conversation with lots of people who think it's completely and utterly wrong of me to want more money than I need. It's greed. It isn't, because I'm going to use that money for good. In other words, I'm going to help people create schools. Education is something that I've always been very keen on. When I was a kid, I used to play 2 games. One of them was school teacher. The other one was pop star. Obviously, again, pop star, not very realistic. School teacher. I have taught. I taught a lot. I taught for many, many years. Gosh, there's a lot of history, Andrea history coming out today, isn't there? Anyway, I taught for a long time and I'm teaching now, goodness me. So obviously something I like. So education is really important to me. And there are educational programs that would knock your socks off, but people don't know about them. So they need to be spread, and they would spread if they had more money. So if I had spare, I could give it to them, right? I also have relatives. I have friends who occasionally struggle. I want to be able to give money to them, right? I want to be able to contribute to other organizations like, I don't know, clean water or more food, famine relief, disaster relief, all that kind of stuff. I want to have so much money that I don't even have to think about whether I contribute. That's why I want more money than I need, so that I can actually really do some good. Right? But again, that's a higher level, right? So on a slightly lower level, what does financial freedom mean for me? Well, I've struggled in the past. COVID was not kind to me and my family, right? It knocked us financially. And my need for safety in finance was shaken. I wasn't getting all my needs met financially during that period. So that means bills to be paid, That means all bills are paid, and I don't have to worry if I need another item of clothing, or my dog needs grooming, or whatever it is. I don't have to worry. I don't have to think, oh, how am I going to pay for that this week? If I have to pay for that this week, then I'm not going to be able to pay for that now, and I'm going to have to pay for that later. I grew up in an environment where money was tight. I learned there would never be enough, or there was never enough. I remember things happening that were quite serious. My grandfather bailed us out. That's not good. That's not good. It means that my parents were struggling. More importantly, it means that somewhere embedded in my mind was the idea there would never be enough money. Somehow, I don't know how, I've managed to overcome that. I got a job at 16. I think actually before 16, I was doing things like babysitting, because you could. The rules might have changed. So don't tell your pre-16-year-old daughters they suddenly have to rush out and get babysitting jobs, because I don't know whether that's possible, but I did. In fact, I was babysitting at the age of 11. And then I was making jewelry. And then I started working in a shop that sold handmade goods. First of all, I started selling them the stuff I was making, and then I got myself an official Saturday job there. And so I've been working all my life, all my adult life. And I've been enjoying the fact that I could generate income almost whenever I felt like it. Because as long as you've got something to sell that somebody else wants, you'll make money. But I didn't understand all that then. I just knew that I was making earrings and people liked them. And sometimes people would say, can I have that one in green? Or can you make that one with a thingy on instead of a doodah, or whatever it was? And I'd get customized orders. And then it became bracelets and necklaces. And then I learned how to solder silver, and I was off and running. And then A-levels happened and things changed, and I went to Paris and all the rest of it. Anyway, point is, I somehow escaped the there isn't enough money, because I've always had enough money. Always. In fact, I've usually had more than enough. However, there have been times where I haven't. And there has been financial pressure and stress. And knowing that in my work, whatever I'm doing, that I have to get this done or there won't be enough money coming in, or I have to push that much harder or there won't actually be quite enough money. I do know that feeling. I really do. I know that from personal experience. At various points in my life, there's been hardship. I worked freelance in the television industry for 15 years. Sorry, I seem to have a hair on my nose. It's tickling me. And it's feast or famine. You can be working on a production, all your bills are paid, all your debts are paid off in next to no time, and you're up and plain sailing again. You know the job's coming to an end in a month's time, or 3 months' time, or 6 months' time, or whatever it is, and you start looking around to find another gig, but there could be a gap in between, right? Those gaps are horrible, because your expenses are still going out, but you don't have any new money coming in. And at that time, I wasn't tuned in to residual or even passive income. Now, when I first learned about residual income, I was very, very clear about the fact it wasn't passive, because I saw a lot of people on the internet promoting passive income opportunities, and it was never passive. There was always something you had to do to earn that money. In my view, the only passive income there is high interest bank accounts, or stocks and shares, or trading of some kind, where somebody else does the work and you benefit. Anything else isn't passive. No affiliate marketing or MLM or anything like that is passive. A lot of people think MLM is passive because you sign people up and then they sign people up and then you don't have to work with those people. That's not true. You still have to work with them. In fact, you sometimes have to work really hard, especially if you're selling a health product, something like that, where attrition, in other words, people stopping buying, happens easily and quickly. You've got to keep working in order to keep that money coming in. It's nothing like having a job, but it's not passive, not under any description. So, financial freedom to a lot of people means just knowing your bills are paid, right? Just knowing you're not going to have to struggle. You're not going to be sitting there one week thinking, what can I pay this week? And what do I have to wait next week for? And how much money is coming in? And what do I have to do in order to increase that? And how am I going to do that? And play that juggling game, because balls do get dropped. Things do go wrong. And it's very, very stressful. Also, it's more challenging to enjoy your business if you're worried about how much money is coming in, or the fact that there might not be, or you really need an assistant, but you can't actually afford to pay one, right? So I get all that. So at the starting point, financial freedom is about not having to worry about your bills anymore. Then it's on to paying off your credit cards. Then it's about paying off your mortgage. Then it's about having spare money and being able to give money away and being able to contribute to things. And then it's about having somebody else run your business for you so that all your income becomes passive and you're off. You can retire and you can travel the world, whether it be in your own private jet or you're traveling first class. Who cares? At that point, it really doesn't matter. So how do you get to that point? Well, 5 income streams. And I've talked about this before, 5 income streams, because if anything ever goes wrong, you want a backup plan. And they might not all be generating income at the same time. Some of them might be earning more and others less, and it goes up and down like a seesaw, but eventually they sort of all balance each other out. And I'm not talking about 5 per family. I'm actually talking about 5 per individual. So that if you are in a family, there could be even more, because eventually your kids are going to get very expensive and then they're going to leave home and they're going to want their own money as well. So this is also a really good thing to teach. Yes, I would recommend you get involved in some kind of MLM or some kind of affiliate program where for less effort and on your own timetable, you can have more income than you can in a job. But I wouldn't give any job up until you're making the equivalent income. And it's not that difficult to get to sort of 5, 10, 15,000 a month in an MLM or an affiliate marketing program of some kind without too much effort. The important thing being you can put the time in alongside your job, even if you've got kids. I've seen it done 100 times, 1,000 times. So that's a possibility. So that could potentially be 2. Who knows? I would also recommend you look at investing. Now, in investing, in the old days, used to be, you've got to have a couple of £100,000 or dollars. You've got to buy stocks and shares. That's really, really impossible for most of us. Then you got the, oh, well, actually, now the internet's opened up and there are other companies trading and you can join them for just 25,000 or 50,000 or so and make some money. Yeah, possible. That's still out of the reach of most people, though. And in the early days, losses were they happened almost as often as wins, right? But that's where I'm thinking. That's where the passive income is. That's where freedom comes from, because it's not just freedom of money. Freedom of money is relatively easy, actually. You just get a high-powered job. Go to school and learn to be a lawyer. You've got money freedom. But the freedom lifestyle is about time freedom, not just money, but time. In other words, you've got money coming in whether you're working or not. And most lawyers don't have that. Most CEOs of big companies don't have that. They still need to do some work in order to be given the big paychecks. Okay, unless they've got to such a high level that they're paying managers to do everything and they're just continuing to make a profit. And you get to that point at the Richard Branson scale. And he then took his money and he invested it into other things, airlines, right? Phones, banking systems, right? That gives him other income streams. The music business changed. If the music business had been Mr. Branson's only income source, that might have been difficult for him, but it wasn't. And that's the point. You want at least 5. So I've been playing with investment recently, and I use the word playing deliberately because, first of all, it's fun. It has the same qualities as a game has. In other words, there's something I want to achieve, and there are obstacles in the way stopping me, things I need to learn, rules I need to abide by. It is a game, right? And if you look at it from a point of view of being a game, it becomes much more fun because somehow we have a mental pattern associated with the word game that makes things feel like fun, right? Some people will tell you life is a game. Some people will say, absolutely not. Life is really serious. I don't know which side you're on, but if you can view making money as a game, it's fun. And it became that for me when I saw money coming into my bank account that I hadn't had to work for. Right? Bearing in mind, I've been earning residual income for a decade or more, well over a decade, right? So it's not about residual income because there is still work associated with the residual income. This is passive. This is what's going to get me to a freedom lifestyle way faster than I actually thought possible. And I want to take you with me. Yay! Because you know what? There's something very incredible and almost unreal about money turning up for no reason at all, except for the fact that you put some somewhere, right? You're getting money because you put money somewhere. Now, most of us have grown up working for our money. Now we have the opportunity of getting our money to work for us. And yes, you need something to start with, but not much. You can start with $300, $400, $500. Obviously, the more you start with, the better, right? You don't need massive amounts of money to become involved in investing and trading and do well. And systems have become much more sophisticated. Losses are minimal in comparison to what they were before, because there are all sorts of automated systems and AI, artificial intelligence, and robots and things in place that can protect you. So it's much less risky than it was 20 years ago, right? Even 10 years ago. I haven't experienced any dramatic losses at all. I have experienced some losses, but my wins, my successes have far, far, far exceeded that. Well worth it. And don't you have losses in business anyway? You place an ad somewhere that doesn't work, or you spend 3 weeks onboarding a client who then decides they don't want to do the program and they want a refund, and all that time and effort was wasted. Same thing. It's still a loss. It still cost you time and money. time. It costs you time when you're playing investing games and trading games and that kind of stuff. There's no time. It's all just money. And money, you can make it again. In fact, I've worked with people who will say money is the easiest thing to make. Making money is even easier than making a cake. So let's see, shall we? Who's in? Who's in? Huh? Who wants to join me? If you've got any questions, call or text 858-252-1190. Email me, andrea@phdinfollowup.com. And if you want a sneak peek at some of the things I'm playing with, go to abundancesnowball.com. Right? That's the financial branch of PhD in Follow-Up. Abundance Snowball is not only for business owners. It's for anybody who wants to make a little bit of extra money. Grandparents who want to start funds that will pay for their grandchildren to go through college, or create deposits that their grandchildren can use to build, to get their first home, or to secure a retirement for them where they won't have to worry about the world's finances. They know that they'll have enough money to cover all their costs, or who want to pay off their house early so that they can retire early, that kind of thing. Or young people who want to save for college. It's not just business owners, although of course that's where it started. And if you do have a business mindset, you can usually make yourself a little bit of extra money as well. There's nothing quite like seeing money arrive in your account that you really did not do anything to get. And I've been through all the is it ethical questions and all the rest of it. And yes, it is. Because in order for companies to be able to do stuff, they need money. And the money that you put in helps them. And they're just repaying you. That's all. It's that simple. So, or money is changing value and you're benefiting on the change in value. Nothing unethical about that either. What would be unethical would be to lie about the potential, or even to use the money that's being generated for things that don't benefit somebody. Obviously, that is not my intention here. On the contrary, that's why I'm sharing it, so that you can all benefit. All right, end of sermon for today. And it has gone on a little long, I think. I apologize for that. But really important stuff. So, are you with me? Do you believe that you could have the freedom lifestyle? And are you willing to try? It can take time. It could take 2 or 3 years, 5 years, even 10 years. But that time is going to pass anyway. And you're going to make money and lose money. Wouldn't it be nice just to make more so that you don't have to stress about money? Because that's one of the worst things. Stress can lead to all sorts of other problems, including health issues. We don't want that. So keep yourself healthy and wealthy by having the wisdom to join me on this exciting journey. AbundanceSnowball.com. AbundanceSnowball.com. Abundance, more of something, snowballing down the hill and getting bigger and bigger and bigger as it does so. And all you have to do is stand at the top and give it a little push. That's the idea behind that. Okay, my friends, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I really appreciate your time, and I am here for you. So please do reach out. That's my job. That's my purpose. You make me happy by giving me your problems so that I have them to solve. And I do. I solve them all. And this is why we're here now talking about money, because that was a problem for people. I saw you struggling in your businesses, worried about the fact that you were not making enough money and you really ought to have a job. That fixed it. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again, same time, same place next week. Where do I find my exit? Here we go. Thank you so much. Bye.